Black Friday starts earlier and earlier every year. In this video, let's talk about language app Black Friday deals to ignore so you don't waste your money just because it's discounted. The first thing to know about language app Black Friday deals to ignore is to ignore anything that requires a significant lifestyle change. It's really easy to get excited about the premise of spending all day, every day learning languages, especially at a deep discount. But I can tell you from personal experience, and more than one experience, that it just doesn't work. For example, it sounds super exciting to do something like Lingoda Sprint, which are really intensive lessons for like 30 days. So our little motivated brains like to say, oh, it's at a discount and it's really committed. I don't have a choice other than to just force myself to do it. The problem is, in most of those cases, the money just gets burned up. Language learning is a long-term consistent thing, and you don't stay consistent by throwing yourself into a completely different lifestyle and day-to-day routine. That is a really top-tier way to set yourself up for failure by trying to pretend you're one kind of person with one kind of lifestyle, because eventually the real you and your real lifestyle will take over. It's totally fine to get excited about learning a language, especially with a discount. However, don't get too excited. Don't get so excited that you set yourself unreasonable expectations. If you're the kind of person who comes home from work and then just scrolls their phone and watches Netflix for 6-7 hours after work, you can try to flip that script to be studying for those 6 hours after work every day, but it's going to be painful and it's not going to last. Plus, you're going to feel bad because you feel like it's your fault, when in reality, you're just kind of hoping to be a different person than you really are. That said, I would stick to finding apps that maybe have a Black Friday discount, but are more reasonable and easier for you to put into your everyday life. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be reasonable. The next thing to know about language app Black Friday deals to ignore is any app that you wouldn't pay full price for. I see this all the time with language learners that they find a really steep discount for a language app and they decide to buy it because they don't want to miss out on the discount. But the thing is, what happens is you're paying just to have the discount. You're not paying for the actual language learning or the actual education. So even when you do buy it for the discount and you save that money and you go to that app or course to learn a language, it's not going to work for you. Because when you're doing this, your priority is the discount. It isn't the language, it isn't the exercises or the game or whatever language app you're getting. You're focused on that discount. And so when you buy the app and you get the discount, you feel like you got it. It's over. You won. You got the discount and you saved all that money. So what happens is you don't ever actually use the thing that you bought to learn a language, because that's not why you were buying it, right? You were buying it to get a discount. That is a big difference. And even if you did save like $200, you still spent $200. And for what? Black Friday is tricky. And that's why instead of looking for the deepest discount in your Black Friday shopping, you focus on language apps and courses and resources that you would pay full price for. Along those lines, the next thing to know about language app Black Friday deals to ignore is any type of language app or course that you haven't been consistently thinking about in the past. That means the random ad that popped up on your Facebook or your Instagram for that random app that's like 75% off. You've never heard of it before, but it's a really excellent deal. I have a secret for you. These deeply discounted resources generally have the same discounts every year. Now, this doesn't make the discount less good, but it does mean you don't have to worry about losing it. Well, the reason why we waste so much money on Black Friday is because we are so afraid of losing the discount. And what if we want it in the future? And you may as well spend the money now instead of potentially wasting the money in the future because you didn't get the discount. These discounts are exactly the same or similar every single year. So if you've never heard of that language app, you can keep it in mind and think about it over the next year, but I would advise not investing just yet. Give yourself some time to learn more about your own language learning, learn about what that language course does. And if it's like a compatible matchup, then wait until next Black Friday or their next discount and invest then. And I say this as somebody who in the past was very excited about one particular language learning resource and then got that Black Friday sale at a very steep discount. Fast forward to today, and now that resource is totally free. Oh, and I never really totally took full advantage of it because it teaches you things that aren't really a priority to me. Learn from my mistakes. The next thing to know about language app Black Friday deals to ignore is to not buy language apps for languages that you don't actually want to learn. This may sound obvious, but hear me out. It's not unusual for people to want to learn one language, but feel like they should learn another language, either because there are more resources or it's more useful for like a resume type thing, more useful in the real world, etc. And in these cases, it feels like the language that you want to learn is generally a waste of time, and so you shouldn't do it, especially if you should be learning language B. And at the end of the day, they just don't learn any language at all. Now, during Black Friday, when there are deeply discounted language apps, this problem is like stress, and it gets even worse. Because now, instead of just kind of looking at language A and wanting to learn that language, but also like poking at language B and feeling like you should, now you're also throwing money at language B and saying, oh, if I buy this app, then maybe I will be more likely to learn this language. I will want to learn this language. Have you ever bought an expensive gym membership and swearing that you're gonna work out every day because you're spending so much money? Exactly, it doesn't work out. A more simple way to look at this point is if you have a problem in your language learning, a deep discount is not going to solve your problem. If you are struggling to learn languages, getting a new language learning resource or book or whatever it is isn't going to magically fix it, no matter how convincing it is. The next thing to know about language app Black Friday deals to ignore is to not buy language apps if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. Now, this is tricky because all of these apps and resources and classes, they tend to say very similar things. There's not a whole lot of differentiation between different resources, so it's pretty much impossible to tell which ones will be good for you and which ones won't. Fortunately for you, this is my specialty. So if you want to get a better idea of what kind of language learning resources you're looking for your own interests and language learning, I do have a free course to get you started, link below in the description. It's a very short video course that will lead you to ask yourself the right questions when looking for language learning resources. And this free course also ties into my free language app search, again, link below in the description, where you can use those questions to ask yourself what you're looking for and plug in those things into my language app search and find the right resource for yourself. That way you can find Black Friday deals and discounts based on what you're looking for in your language learning and what language learning resources you need, not just what the steepest discount is. If you found this video valuable, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every single Wednesday all about how to learn languages. And remember to take advantage of my free course on how to choose a language app if you're looking through all these Black Friday deals and you're kind of going cross-eyed. See you there.